हेलो दोस्तों, दिस इज भारत कुमार एंड यू आर वाचिंग माय चैनल निर्मल इन्फो अपडेट्स।
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
Expressing happiness over the defense reforms announced by the government, as they will ensure timely implementation of modernization projects. Chief of Defense Staff General Bipin Rawat on Sunday said that all issues for indigenization of military weaponry, ammunition and equipment have been coordinated. General Rawat was commenting on the announcements made by the Finance Minister on Saturday, in which she notified the increase in foreign direct investment (FDI) limit in defense sector from the existing 49% to 74%. She also announced the creation of a list of weapons and equipment whose import would be banned in the country, apart from a separate budgetary provision for acquisition from the domestic defense industry. We have been working together for adopting the whole of government approach. All issues that are facilitating indigenization in military weaponry, ammunition and equipment have been coordinated. We are happy to see the announcements because these will ensure timely implementation, General Rawat told AMI. The CDE said that research and development in the defense sector will witness a different approach where there can no longer be avoidable time and cost overruns. His comment comes against the backdrop of delays in several projects in the defense sector in the last few decades. General Rawat said the scope for private industry provided in the announcements will usher in competitiveness. On the increase in FDI limit, he said, this will facilitate technology transfers and defense corridors taking shape in right earnest. The government has created 2 industrial corridors dedicated for defense in Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh, which are being promoted for creating defense industry ecosystem in the country. The CDE said the defense forces on their part will come up with qualitative requirements that are based on acceptable and desirable standards. General Rawat stated that now we are certain industry will also get the right message that it will no longer be business as usual, instead there will be value for deliverance. An analysis of the Pakistan Army regarding its outlook towards the civilian establishment in the country, done by some Indian agencies in 2015, has become relevant today after the Pakistan Army has sought a 20% pay hike in their salaries despite the country going through a massive economic crisis. The Pakistan Army is facing massive domestic discontent in the federally administered tribal areas, FATA, for allegedly carrying out the killing of popular Pashtun leader, Sultan Muhammad Arif Wazir, who was assassinated on May 1 in South Waziristan, with his supporters alleging that his killing was carried out under the instruction of the Pakistan Army. His killing has come less than 12 months after 13 Pashtun Tehfz movement (PTM) supporters were gunned down by the army in the North Waziristan district of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa (KP) province. Wazir was a prominent member of the PTM, a newly formed 2-year-old political party, which has earned the reputation of being the only organized political party in the country that has criticized the Pakistan Army for using jihadi groups to carry out proxy wars on its behalf. In their analyses, which is classified and for the use of the departments concerned in India, the Indian agencies had found that prolonged periods of military rule have instilled a feeling in the armed forces that they have a rightful place in the governance of that country and that they are the real guardians of the country's ideology and territory. In its memorandum submitted to the Pakistan Finance Ministry on May 8, the Pakistan's military, through the Ministry of Defense, has sought an additional outlay of Rs 63.69 billion to cover a 20% increase in the salaries of the personnel of the Army, Navy and Air Force amid cost-cutting and austerity measures by the civilian government. It is pertinent to mention that the government in the 2019-20 budget passed had allocated Rs 1.5 trillion for defense, which was 14% of the total budget outlay. This demand from the military has come even as Pakistan is going through a prolonged period of economic hardship. As per a recent World Bank report, Pakistan is likely to fall into a recession due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the long years of economic slowdown that it has been going through. Last year in May, Pakistan was forced to seek a bailout of $6 billion from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) to keep itself afloat. It was the 13th time Pakistan was forced to seek help from the IMF in the last 30 years. The Pakistan Army, for years now, has considered itself superior to any civilian or civilian setup. The result of the study that we carried out in 2015 matches what is happening in Pakistan right now. While Pakistan's economy is going south and the country is fighting COVID-19, its army is more concerned about its appraisals, a Delhi-based official, who was a part of the analyses, told the Sunday Guardian. The extent of Pakistan Army's involvement in running the country can be also gauged from the arrest and the subsequent escape of former Tehreek-e-Taliban functionary Senwar Sen. Sen, who was arrested by the Pakistan Army in April 2017, by his own admission, was kept in a safe house for almost 3 years before he escaped in January 2020. After escaping, Sen had tweeted that a retired Pakistan major and a prominent Islamic cleric, who preaches Wahhabism, had acted as guarantors of the army to ensure that the Pakistan Army kept its promises that it had made to Senwar Sen for his surrender. Until he was in a safe house, Sen was protected from any civil trials for the plethora of terrorism charges that he was facing. This is akin to Dawood Ibrahim surrendering to the Indian Army, staying in an army guest house and facing no criminal cases. Religious radicalization in the Pakistan Army is an open secret, and perhaps it is because of these sentiments that Senwar Sen, who, till the time he was active, spoke about bringing a Sharia law in the country, got a caring treatment from the army since he spoke their language, the same official, quoted above, said. In fact, the classified assessment, mentioned earlier, too, has gone into how religious indoctrination had become a prominent part of the Pakistan military. Islamization of the Pakistan Army begins from the day the recruits take their oath on Sharia, after which they are exposed to constant motivation on the basis of Islam in regular religious studies. This steady indoctrination provides fertile grounds to Islamic fundamentalist parties in Pakistan to extend their influence over armed forces personnel. The troops are also subjected to religious tests which are based on the tenets of Islam as perceived by the majority Sunnis. These tests are intended to raise the level of religious awareness among the troops, but, in fact, ensures their religious indoctrination. These tests have led to resentments among soldiers of Shia and Ismail sects, reads the relevant part. Intelligence agencies across the world believe that it was this soft spot for Islamic fundamentalism which allowed the world's most wanted terrorist, Osama bin Laden, to hide for nearly 10 years in the garrison town of Abbottabad, despite the world's most penetrative and omnipresent eyes of America looking for him ever since he carried out the 9/11/2001 attack. Osama was killed in May 2011. Similarly, the May 2011 audacious terror attack on PNS Marin, a prominent Pakistan military installation, was also tracked to at least 4 Navy officers who were sympathetic to the cause of the Al-Qaeda and Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP. All the 4 officers were court-martialed and sent to prison. Next year, in August 2012, Base Minas, one of the Pakistan Air Force's, PAF's, largest air base, was attacked by terrorists. Subsequent investigation led to the arrest of at least one former member of the Pakistani military for the help he gave to the perpetrators of the attack. The insertion of Islam into Pakistan Army is credited to General Zia-ul-Haq, who led a military coup against Zia Bhutto in July 1977 and became the president, a post in which he served for 10 years. General Zia's first move as army chief was to change Muhammad Ali Jinnah's original army motto from unity, faith, and discipline to faith, piety and jihad for the sake of Allah. He declared that he and the other top army officials of the nation were soldiers of Islam. 2 major changes, introduced by Zia, perhaps changed the entire mindset of the army. He started religious evaluation of officers at every level and opened the doors of the military installations and training centers to preachers from the Bandi groups. These actions led to the introduction of radically conservative ideology into the army's culture, which continues till now. This was continued by his successors, as Pervez Musharraf, who rode on a coup to become the president of Pakistan, famously said in September 2001, soon after the world had witnessed the 9/11 attacks, "Pakistan is regarded as the fort of Islam. If this fort is damaged, Islam will be damaged." A dissertation titled Radicalization and Politicization of Pakistan Army, Implications on Pakistan National Security, which was prepared by a serving Indian Army officer, Colonel Rahul Makdal, as for an MPhil degree from the Department of Defense and National Security Studies, Punjab University, Chandigarh, has talked in vast details about how Islamic radicalization has become an intrinsic part of the Pakistan Army. Pakistan's decision to go ahead with the Diamer Bhasha Dam and POK not only infringes upon India's sovereignty but can be an ecological disaster, as there are 300 earthquakes on average in a single month at the proposed site of the Diamer Bhasha Dam. And this is not the only challenge, as the reservoir of the dam is to be constructed on top of the Central Asian fault line. China's state-run China Power and Pakistan Army's commercial body Frontiers Works Organization signed an accord to construct the dam, $5.85 billion, last Wednesday. Diamer Bhasha Dam, probably the world's highest concretized dam, will stand at a height of 272 m with the capacity to hold 8 acre-feet of water. It plans to generate 4,500 MW of power. The dam, to be constructed on the river Indus in the northern Gilgit-Baltistan region, which borders China, is set to produce 4,500 MW. Role of China in the construction of the dam will allow Beijing to expand its presence in the area. A letter written by the original designer of the dam, General Bhatt, in 2004 to then Pakistan President Pervez Musharraf stated, "I shudder at the thought of earthquake effects on Bhasha. Dam burst would wipe out Hargwa and all barrages on Indus, which would take us back to the Stone Age."